Monday. I guess we'll start with the celebrations, of course. Let me get gallery view here. And who do we have? We've got Kat. How are you, Kat? If Kat is there. Okay. I'm going to take that as a no. So with Kelly, is Kelly there?
I am here.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah, I got a brand new laptop, so I'm just in my glory, playing, transferring, playing.
Oh, see, I had to get a new phone this weekend, and that's one thing I do hate doing is when you get something new, you're having to transfer all the applications and everything.
Yes, it is really annoying, definitely, because I was like looking at all my what do you call those, the shortcuts, and like, okay, cool.
Yes, exactly.
But it is like right? But you will also admit though, when you have that beautiful crisp screen, you're just like pretty.
Well, yeah, because my cover on my phone, it's a palm tree and it's all shiny and everything. So it's really cool.
Yes. So, well, okay, aside from that wonderful, wonderful win, what are
Yes.
some other celebrations for this week?
It was 5 weeks. I'm in a band, so I sing and play guitar with my husband. And we hadn't been able to play for like 5 weeks because the weather here in Panama, it just seemed like every Saturday it downpoured. So finally on Saturday it was cloudy, and we thought, you know what? We're just going to try it out and go for it. And it didn't rain. It was cloudy, but it didn't rain. But we got to play, and we played like 3 hours solid. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice. Oh, that is wonderful. You know what? And I feel like, yeah, sometimes we just almost like will it to happen. We've had similar. So I'm up the Mayan Riviera. So we're
Okay.
close-ish to you. And yeah, we've had that tropical storm you guys got was, I don't know, it's
Oh,
it's in Belize, right? But it's still bringing us the rain and the wind and all the things. And we have just downpour and downpour. And then I need to take the dogs out for a walk. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna leave like right now. And all of a sudden the skies just like opened up and the rain stopped and we did our
uh,
walk. And I got home and it started raining and I was like,
oh, well, see, that's where you need chihuahuas. I've got two chihuahuas, and they have pee pads in the house, so we don't need to go outside.
yes. Yeah, and my one both my dogs are big, so that'd be a hell of a pee pad. Whew. And
Oh,
my
yeah,
doodle,
totally.
right? She's such a turkey. She got used to peeing on walks. So even though we have grass in the backyard, she needs her walk to bedtime pee. It's yeah.
Oh, so yeah, that was my celebration. It just like the weeks fly by, which is really great. Like, I just can't believe, like, even though I'm doing this job for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, but how quick it goes. Like, it just flies by, you know. So it's a
Yes.
good thing.
And yes. I hear you with that. I think twice in the past like day or two, I've told my boyfriend like it's November. How is it November?
I know. Well, especially where you are and where we are, right? It doesn't feel like the month that it actually is.
Yes, that's exact. You
So
know, that plays a big part, hey?
it really does. You know what? I wish Christmas Day, actually Christmas Eve. I remember when I was young, and I used to love when it was green, and then when you wake up Christmas morning and all of a sudden everything's all white, the trees and everything. That's one day that I do wish that I could see the snow.
Yeah, I will say that Christmas is still this will be our third Christmas here, and it is still
Okay.
different for sure because I'm born and raised in Alberta, so all the snow. And I have I have gotten for the most part used to it. Like Christmas Day, that whole like literal Christmas like 24th to 26th. I do kind of miss the snow a little bit,
Right.
but on like this year I bought little snowflakes to hang on my plants and whenever I kind of get a little like, ooh, I just think -40. That's right. No, thank you.
Yes, exactly. Well, over here it's really cool because the Panamanians, they all have front porches, and they put all their Christmas trees and all the decorations right on their porch.
Oh, that's fun. That is
And
very
nobody
fun.
steals anything because it's very religious. So nobody steals any decorations from the front of your house. So it's really cool.
You know what? I think that's worth the no snow right there.
Yes. Yes, it is.
We're gonna have to. I'll have to make a point that my boyfriend and I'll have to go to Panama for Christmas, just so we can see all this. Yeah, Christmas is my favorite. So to just have like extra decorations out front and stuff, like yeah, I feel like I need to see this.
Yes. Yeah, it's really cool.
Wonderful. Okay, so do you need any solutions today?
Not really. You can't help me with my hip pain, so no, I think I'm all good.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I say for hip pain is, of course, the massage therapist in me, movement and stretch.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm old.
And that's sometimes we just can't help it, right? Get to a certain point, and it's just like some things just are.
Exactly. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, well, I guess since nothing from Kat, I'll give Kat kind of last dibs because the only other thing, actually, you know what? I will give a little tidbit today, which I think is important. So, my boyfriend and I were talking about mindset this morning, and what it was okay. So he said he thinks that once mindset is like a set it and forget it. Once you get it, once you make that shift, whether you're up leveling your identity, you're like whatever the mindset is, once you get it, you never have to work on it again. It's there, it's in you and a part of you. And I disagree because I was like, well, no, you'll always have to be working on yourself. There'll always be triggers. There'll be things that want to push you backwards. Or if you kind of, I don't want to say relax because it's not like we're on guard or tense all the time, but if you just don't pay attention, it's easy to fall in back into some older habits. And so we kind of were arguing, we are discussing, but almost like arguing about it a little bit. And it turns out, because then I ended up asking him, I'm like, okay, what do you mean by working on? And so in his mind, working on was the literal learning about it, implementing it, like making the shifts, like doing that hard initial work on it. And when I was talking about working on, I was talking about like remembering, like maybe checking in once a week. Like if something feels off, checking in with yourself. Am I in the right place? Do I have any weird stories I need to switch around? Like just being kind of vigilant about keeping yourself up to snuff in your mindset. So it's funny because we were arguing, but we weren't even talking about like the same real thing. We both, when we broke it down and got clarification, we agreed on what we were talking about. But before we got the clarification, we were arguing because like we weren't even on the same page of the words we were using. And this has happened to us, oh my God, so often. This first became really noticeable for me when we replaced our floors in our old house, where we can literally say the exact same sentence using the exact same words and mean two very different things. And this is that, like, I generically just say female brain versus male brain, but it was a really good example this morning of how when we disagree with people, when we get in arguments, I've noticed in today's society, it's very instant. You're wrong. I'm right. And people get mad and it's this big thing. Whereas very simple clarification, what do you mean by that? Like really make sure you understand what they're talking about with those very simple words, break it down, and vice versa. Like they understand what you're saying. If they're willing to converse, right? Obviously, if they just want to get mad and be mad about it, then kind of is what it is. And on the same token, like we could have just agreed to disagree on the mindset, but I didn't want to leave it hanging because I personally would have been wondering, like, does he actually believe this? Not understanding what he believed. And I thought this is such a great example of how we really communication is everything, which I personally hate because I've had to work very hard at being a better communicator. And it's, I'll probably be working on it for a while longer, but it was just really pronounced again, just reinforcing get clarification. And it doesn't matter if it's, your partner, an employee, a client, somebody you struck up a conversation with that I don't know, you're waiting for a hot dog vendor. Like, who cares? Just to really get that clarification So you are on that same page. And honestly, from being a massage therapist and talking to hundreds of women, and I'll say a little less for the men, but hundreds of also, 9 out of 10 arguments are pure miscommunication and not getting clarification on things. So I will say, just, yeah, whatever it is, that take that deep breath, especially depending what's going on. I know the Christmas season is coming up. Tensions run high. Of course, generically as women, we tend to do more, so we're more stressed, all these things. And it's very easy for us to, and just immediately, I don't have time for this. What are you talking about? And revert to that anger. But just to take that breath, okay, hold the phone, what exactly are you talking about? Can you please clarify this for me? I want to understand you. Normally, the vast majority of people are going to appreciate you wanting clarity and listening to them, like actually listening. Because how many people, again, in today's age, people wait their turn to say things. They don't actually listen, they nod and wait to say their piece. So, how, right? Yeah, exactly, Kelly. And so, how, I don't know the right word. Nice is it for someone else to finally be like, oh my God, they're actually listening. We're having a conversation. So I don't envision the most people saying, no, I don't want to clarify. And if that's what they do, you don't want to talk to them anyway. So I hope that's just kind of a good little tidbit, a good food for thought. It's always, I feel like it's one of those things. Again, it's nice to have those gentle reminders every once in a while. Like we can literally be arguing for the same side of something and not even realize it. I've done it with my brother to the point where it was like one of our Christmas dinners together. We're playing games, and my boyfriend's like, "You guys are arguing about the same thing." And we're just like heated in it. And I'm like, no, we're not. And he explains it. And I'm like, oh, totally are. So, yeah, just communication, clarification. It really is so important. And of course, the other tidbit I'd like to just throw in here is, okay, do you have something to add, Kelly?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I just find it hard. Like I'm in a situation where I'm estranged from my daughter. So again, that does bring me back if a memory pops up, right? I've got to be very careful because otherwise I'll end up going 10 steps back to where I am today. So I've got to just when a memory comes up or say Christmas is coming up, I have to just take that extra special attention for myself and just remind myself that this is, not my doing and just talk to myself and say, Kelly, everything's going to be okay. And not beat myself down because it can easily happen, especially in relationships like that, right? So yeah, that's what I just want to say. Sometimes it's hard for me.
Yeah.
So
So what do you beat yourself down over? Like, do you blame yourself for
um
what happened?
I don't now, but and I think it's more like I'll always be confused on why. Why? Because I wasn't a bad mother, right? I was always there. If anything, she didn't have to do chores or anything. And I think it's just that one question that I never got an answer, and it's why. When I see other parents out there that have done a lot to their kids and yet the kids are still communicating with them and they're still in their life. So I think that's it. It's not anymore what did I do wrong? I never say that to myself because I did the best at the time that I could. I didn't know any better. I was 21 when I had her. Now there's a difference between me being 54. So yeah, it's just the why. Like why did it go to this extreme? And I think that's what it is at this point now. But like I said, I'm always going to have a memory pop up that'll make me sad because it's like, I'm going to be missing on grandchildren and everything like that, but it is what it is. It's out of my control. So,
Yes. So I would a couple of things pop in there, which number one, I know you know this, but I'll tell you anyway. Never compare yourself to other families and relationships because, yes, there's people out there, like you said, parents that did a lot worse and the kids still speak to them. But that might be a completely fake relationship. Those kids might speak to the parents out of obligation and secretly like hate them and maybe they can't wait to shove them in a nursing home and right. So we don't know those stories and think of it like Facebook. Almost everything on Facebook is fake. You know, everyone posting these beautiful lives. Meanwhile, it's a backdrop of, you know, they've never even been to Italy, but they're like, oh my God, 2 weeks in Italy. And like, right.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. Yeah.
yeah, that's the big thing to never compare because, and honestly, we all have our own shit. Like, we all have issues and la la la. So, yeah, and I would actually challenge you because I know you said 100% it's out of your control. If you've reached out, you've done what you can, and it is what it is. And now it's,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, her turn to reply, right? So I would challenge yourself to really like let it go. Like if there's a good meditation to release and let go, and then with the intention of I'm going to treasure those beautiful memories. They don't make you sad. You're just glad you had that many. And even though maybe you don't know the grandkids right now, you will one day. And that's okay. And really, I think everything, there's something to learn from everything. Even, you know, it sometimes it's difficult to figure out what, but is there something in here that can help you grow? Like maybe it is simply how to release a relationship. Like it sounds cheesy, but if you love them, let them go and they'll
No,
come back.
yeah. No, you hit it right on the nail because I'm the type of person that I find it hard to let go. And this has taught me to let go. I've realized that I've got to move on with my life. I've got to self-love myself and I have to let go and carry on with my life.
Yes.
I've come a
So,
long
I
way.
mean, yes, and never discount the work you've already done and how far you've come already, because that's a big one. A lot of people will come so far and then be like, but I'm not here. Right. So we always want to celebrate what we've done because that's hard. And especially like I always say, us overwhelmed, us entrepreneurs, especially if you've been stressed, if you've been overwhelmed ever, our control mechanism or our survival mechanism is control. So we're all recovering
Right.
control addicts. So letting go is the hardest thing for us. Like I still struggle with this
Yeah.
a lot. And I would think, though, I don't want to promise anything, but I would think that there's a chance when you do finally release this completely, maybe that's the time she comes back. Like, right when you've actually
Yeah.
gained that full release of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
In my mind, for my self-protection, in my mind, I will not see her again. And it's just for my protection, right?
well,
Yeah,
and
in
you,
my mind,
and I think too, like, I'm unstable. Let's see if I
eh,
can come
that's
back
okay. I
here.
can still
Okay.
hear
Am I
you.
back yet?
I can
Okay.
hear you.
Oh, okay. Perfect. So I will say to
There
also
you go.
challenge yourself. I know you said protection, but it's
Yeah.
one of those like it's part of release too. Like just accepting I may never see her again. And I need to be okay
Yeah.
with that instead of thinking of it like this wall of like, I need to be okay with it. Just be like, no, I am okay with it. Like, see the
Yes.
difference?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm getting there. I am really getting there now. Like it's been a struggle because my husband had it with his child. That's another issue. The mother was saying nothing but bad things as she was being raised. So my husband had the same issue, but it's different. I raised my daughter, right?
Yeah.
It's been harder on me. It's been harder as a mother to let go, whereas my husband let go a lot sooner. So,
Men are better at it. Men are very cut and dry with things like that. Oh, that's not good. Okay, bye. Like,
yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
whereas I think with us, it's our nurturing, it's our nature, right? Like I was the mother, and it's hard for the mother to say, well, your child doesn't want you. The child's, rejecting you. And then finally, being treated the way I was, I had to finally say enough is enough. I'm not accepting this. And I cannot have you in my life if you are going to continue being like this. So I had to let go.
Yeah, which is wonderful. And again, I hope you know what a huge step that is. Most people never make it there. So that alone is huge.
Yeah,
I would also love for you when you have a few minutes and like you can sit down with yourself, really journal or even just sit with your thoughts and talk to yourself about you said being rejected. She rejected you. Now, that's the word that you've attached to it. But I think there could be, like, do you think that there's other stories that could be there? Like, not reject, but maybe she doesn't understand my point of view. She just doesn't understand, like, instead of that word reject, because that's very, very
true. It's a
harsh.
harsh word. Yeah, it's a harsh word. Yeah, you're right. That's the first thing that popped in my head is using that word. But no, you're correct. It's just our differences. She is totally
Yeah.
opposite than me. She took after the father, and yeah, she hasn't taken after me. She has no empathy. She
Yeah.
doesn't show empathy, nothing. So,
So you guys really butt heads. Yeah. Okay.
oh yeah,
I I would
yeah,
I would definitely, yeah, take a few moments, like I mean, however long you need, hours, days. Yeah, journal on the it's not a rejection. It's something on her part she needs to work through, right? Don't
right.
you're putting it on yourself. You're putting it all on you. I'm the problem. I'm rejected. I'm right. And I feel like you're being a little unfair to yourself. And I feel like, yeah, you attaching that word. So it slipped out, but it slipped out of somewhere, right?
True.
And
Yeah, that's true.
see if you can't work through that and be like it's not a rejection, it's whatever, like I don't know the relationship, but whether it's an inability to compromise or she's not in the right headspace to see my point of view or like whatever that might be. But yeah, try and discover the real root of that word, why you put it there, and do you really think that's 100% like what that is?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Oh, yeah, it really, and I will say though too, I'm sure you know this, but I'll remind you that letting go, the surrendering, it's very tiring and exhausting. So if you do some more meditations, if you really journal or whatever you do to work on that, give yourself that rest time afterwards to recover. Because
Right.
yeah, I learned that the hard way. Did some meditations, did some forgiveness letters, and all of a sudden I was like, oh God, what's happening?
Yeah, it's draining. Yes.
Very. So, okay, wonderful. I'm so glad you spoke up there. I feel like, well, give you some extra things to work on. I feel like hopefully that'll lighten some loads. I feel like you're still carrying some rocks on your shoulders.
I am, but they're pebbles now. They're not big rocks. They're pebbles. So,
Perfect. Wonderful. All
thank you.
right. You're welcome. Is there anything else anyone else has anything to say? Any other issues before we wrap up? Give everyone time to hit that mute button because it takes a while sometimes. All right. I'm seeing no. Everyone's good. So okay, in that case, I gave my little speech and stuff. I hope this helps. I think it's just one of those like, you know, even reiterating self-care is mandatory. It's literally caring about yourself. You are a human being that deserves to be cared for. And sometimes we need to hear that frequently because we do forget, especially as women, where we're being pulled in 10,000 directions. So, yeah, I hope everyone has a wonderful Monday and a wonderful rest of the week. And yeah, I can't wait to see in 2 weeks how everything's gone for everyone. Start of the Christmas season, Black Friday's coming up, so much stuff. And then having said that, just remember guys, one thing at a time. You get overwhelmed, take your deep breaths, recenter, pick one thing, do that one thing only, get it done. What's the next thing? One thing at a time. All right. Awesome. Well, yeah, have a great rest of your day, everyone, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Take care.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.